Hello, everyone. We are so excited. We have Justin and Krista Whitfield here with us, and they are an amazing team. And we are going to be talking about how to tweak your communication style to get more listings and how to close more deals by knowing people's disc score and communication that's going to get your buyers and sellers to the closing table and how to work successfully with a spousal team. So, Justin and Krista, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day. This is perfect. So, we have a wonderful couple with us on Valentine's Day. And as you guys know, I do not work with my husband. I'm very we do not do anything business wise. And we feel like our marriage is really, really great. And that's the most important thing to us. So I have the utmost respect and admiration for couples that can work together all day and then also have a great marriage. And you guys have really mastered this. So I am so excited to talk to you. But first, what I want to talk about is how I'd love for you guys to do a demonstration of a listing presentation and how you implement the disc score with that. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. So, one of the important things is knowing your own disc score. But the more that you understand disc, what we do is we call reverse disc. And just with a little bit of communication with the person and the way that they answer, we make a really quick assumption of what their disc score is. And so with that, we're going to go through, there's four discs. If you're not familiar with this, there's D, which is direct, I, which is influential, S, which I call steady, and C, which is compliant. But we're going to go through, there you go. All four of those really quick. And we're going to do a role play and we're going to start with the exact same question. And Krista gets the fun job of being an actress today and going through all four of these different ones and how those people would possibly respond and then how I would respond to those questions. And you're going to see that all conversations start the same way. They all end the same way, but the middle is going to be four completely different things. So we're going to start with the D. So Mrs. Whitfield, thank you so much for allowing me into your beautiful home here in Montana today. I was just wondering, what would you have a list price for your home? You have an idea on that?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay. So can you share with me what that would be?
I want it to be $350,000.
Okay. You seem pretty confident on $350,000. Is there anything that I can show you to make you want to change that?
No.
Nope. Okay. So 350, I have comps that show it at 340.
I really want to list it at 350.
Okay, you want to list it at 350? I'm not going to argue with you at all this. Would you agree that if we listed it at 350, but we don't have any traction in a week, that we can lower it to 340?
No,
No?
I want it at 350 and I want to keep it that way because that's what my house is worth.
And then how fast would you like to sell your house?
Quickly.
Quickly. Okay, so would you agree that price goes to quickness as well?
Yes.
Yes. So would you rather have the extra $10,000 and be on the market for 3 to 4 months, or would you rather lower the price in a week and sell quickly?
Well, I guess your second option is probably the better.
Okay, so we're in agreement that we're going to list at 350 and go down to 340 in 1 week if we do not get an offer.
Yes.
Okay. So that was an example of D. If you notice, Krista was a lot of yes, no answers, very short answers. So I set her up for yes, no questions at the time. We didn't elaborate. I didn't go into a deal. I just wanted a lot. And I believe, Chantel, you're a high D. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm off the charts, D. So if you come to me and you want to tell me a whole bunch of details, or if you keep me on the phone too long going on and on, I start getting very annoyed very quickly. Like you can start telling, like, I'm like, okay, da da da. Because time, I don't have a lot of time. I wear a lot of hats. I'm very busy. So the more you keep going on, if I already said no to something and you keep going on, I'm going to get annoyed real quick, and then
Yep.
you're not going to like me and we're not going to be friends, and it's just going to get us.
So you saw how I just answered with yes, no questions really there because I wanted to keep it really on point and moving quickly. And so if there's any employees of Chantel on there, I would suggest mimicking that. Know what you want when you approach her on something because this works for your wife, this works for your kids and everybody. This isn't just real estate.
Yeah, give those straightforward answers. I definitely a high D too. So I don't want the middle fluff
Yep.
at all, which we'll go over and do, but I just straight to the point.
And
So now
don't
we're
give
gonna,
don't give a ton of stats, and don't go on and on about you. Like if I had an agent who when they first started, they were going on and saying things like, well, in 1991, I sold this many houses and then I did this
Yeah.
and going on and on. I'm like, I want that listing presentation needs to be like 4 minutes or less, or I'm going to be extremely annoyed. So
yeah,
you better be, if you've got one on PowerPoint, you better go through it super quick. But
absolutely.
let me ask you this. Let's back up for a second, because the first step is, let's just say they call you, you're going in. Are you just flat out asking them, saying something like, listen, in order for me to give you the best service, I just want to show you this form real quick. It's the DISC score. These are the 4 personality styles. Just look at this and just tell me which one of those do you think is, everyone's a lot of these, but which one do you think you're most like? Is that what you would do to start? Or how would you figure out before you start the listing presentation? What are they?
So we don't do that. So we know DISC well. So Chris and I, almost every time we start a conversation with anybody new, it's a waiter in a restaurant, a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, we go through something called form. And you may have heard this in other communication classes, but we talk about family, we talk about occupation, we talk about recreation, and we talk about motivation. And if we go through those 4 questions, number one is that we're going to find a connection and we're going to have something in similar that we can make a connection with that people. And then also we can gauge by how they answer those questions of what kind of disc they are. Now we're making a broad assumption, but that's what we're doing. We're not just saying, hey, identify this.
Gotcha. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I remember when I first started in real estate, I actually did that in the very beginning, just because I wanted to really see what they thought they were, just so I knew right away. Because it takes, if you do it the other way, it takes about 10 minutes or so to be able to figure out what they are.
Yep.
So, sometimes because I'm a high D, I'm like, okay, let's figure out what you are. Look at this list and tell me what you are. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another option to do.
Yeah.
All right. So she did the D. Now
Let's,
go ahead and do the I.
okay. And we're going to start with the same question again. Mrs. Whitfield, thank you so much for allowing me into your beautiful home. Do you have a price that you think you would like to list it for?
Well, I kind of have an in-between range. I've lived in this house for about 7 years. My grandchild had her first birthday party here, smothering her face with cake and getting it all over the floor. I've done a lot of upgrades to countertops, to appliances. So, around, I don't know, 340 to 355 range. So it's kind of, in between.
Oh, I understand that. And my heart goes out for you. I imagine those little grandbabies being here.
Oh, I have another one.
Tell you
Forgot to tell you. So, I want to introduce her to my house, and I've been here for this long.
Oh, absolutely. And can you think of those families that are going to come in here with their grandchildren and make memories of this beautiful home that you've made?
Yeah, carrying some sad, and I might be leaving them.
But we're going to find you another beautiful home that's going to be a little less to take care of, and then you have more time for those grandchildren.
Great. Come on over here. He's a realtor.
So just to finish up, I've got another appointment here at 11 o'clock and I want to be cognizant of their time, but I want to give you the attention that you need also. But just listing prices, I heard 340 to 350. So what my suggestion is doing my comps that we should start at 350. And if we don't get an offer within a week, reduce to 340. How would you feel about that?
That sounds good. And next time we want to have some coffee and cookies.
That sounds great.
Really hard for me.
Tell us-
That
yeah.
lie.
Yeah. So tell us exactly what you do when you're working with a high I. What are some of the pitfalls of either working with a seller and working with a buyer? What are some of those things that you have to be really cognizant of?
So here's the thing is when you communicate with somebody and you're asking somebody to do something, you have to communicate in their style. So if I've identified that somebody's a high I, I'm going to schedule a longer appointment than I normally am with somebody else. If I schedule an appointment with you, I'm going to schedule a 15-minute appointment. If I schedule an appointment with a high I, I'm going to schedule an hour appointment because I have to transition into their communication style to make them comfortable, to make that connection, because the communication isn't about you, it's about them.
So for me, I have transitioned being a D, with yes and no girl. I have got to prepare myself knowing that this is that type of person. And then I have to take deep breaths and say, okay, I felt, I use those to get me through all of that because I just want to get in and get out.
Yes.
But I've learned to settle that down just a tad to try to work with those type of clients.
Yeah. And I think also just even like if you're working with someone who's a high I, really getting to know them, being super bubbly, like over the top, like, because if you're too matter of fact with them, their first reaction is, oh, well, they don't like me. And so
Absolutely.
matching what they're doing. If they're super bubbly, then you've got to be super bubbly. And otherwise they're going to be like, well, she was kind of a dud, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Right?
yeah, exactly. And, I would say that most real estate agents, we have to have some I in us or we don't do as well in this profession because we have to hold those conversations. And now you're a high D and have been very, very successful, but I would say 90% of real estate agents have some I in their personality. So
I'm a D, then an I, then a C, and then an S.
yeah,
So I'm not the right person to come to if like you want to do like a big counseling session and stuff like that. It doesn't work well.
absolutely.
So I have to say, Wayne had put in the comment where you go to do a bubbly class. You just learn and take a lot of, comedy classes and just go with that.
That is funny. That's true. But what about a high S? What do you need to do to relate to a high S?
So high S's, to explain those, they're the real steady people. They don't like to make decisions. If you're out and a group of people and you say, hey, let's go to dinner, the S will never, ever act and say, this is where I want to go to dinner. It's like, oh, wherever you guys want to go. They just kind of go along with the group. Right. So we'll try to speed this up along a little bit. So a high S, Mrs. Whitfield, thank you so much for letting me into your beautiful home. I'm glad you like my listing presentation. Do you have a price in mind that you would like to list your home at?
I don't know. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, I've done a very detailed analysis and I'm thinking around 350 would be a really good price. I'm looking at everything that's selling around here. How do you feel about that?
I feel good.
Are you comfortable with 350? I really want you to be comfortable with that price.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is there any concerns that that's too high or too low?
No.
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 How about like showings? Do you have any concerns about showings? Can people just come in the house as they want, or would you like to have some showing times?
I have concerns.
You do have some concerns,
I
so
do.
we can address that and make sure that we have a schedule so your time isn't being impeded. Because I can just tell you're going to be a person when we're going to call and say, hey, we're showing in 5 minutes, you're going to frantically get out of here, right?
Right.
Yeah, but we don't want to. We want to sell your house fast, but we also want to have a good life with you. So if you're okay, we're going to list this at 350 and we reduce to 340, and we're going to set you up on an app so that you can approve or disapprove showing types. So would that be okay?
That would be really nice.
So I think one of the things about an S is that they are very resistant to change. And like you said, they want someone who's loyal, trustworthy, they're agreeable. And they also, if you're dealing with someone who's an S, you have to be careful that you're not too pushy, not too confrontational, and not too aggressive. So
Ah,
people who are S's, if like I'm a high D, if as soon as I know that they're an S, if I can be very aggressive and that pushes them back a little bit. But at the same time, they want to know that they like that because they want someone that can be there to, make decisions because they can't. My mom and dad are both off the charts S's. When I say off the charts, I mean off the charts. And I believe that's one of the reasons that I am such a high D. And I think for high Ds, they prefer to act quickly and they want an agent who's able to do their request as quickly as possible. So, like for example, if I'm a high D and someone says, "Well, I can get out there next week or I can take pictures in 2 weeks." Immediately, my first reaction is this is not the person for me because I'm a high D, I don't like to wait. I don't like people who ramble. I don't like people who waste my time. And I want to work with an agent that's confident and can act quickly.
yep. Yep. Absolutely.
And now, a word from our sponsor, Canzel Realty. Run your business your way, only at Canzel Realty. You can have all of the freedom with none of the standard real estate red tape. As an agent at Canzel, you'll have the ability to be on a 100% split with no yearly or monthly tech fees. You'll get access to revenue share and stock award options, top-tier leads program options, access to a local broker in every major city instead of just one for the whole state, a local circle leader to help you and your business, access to incredible national speakers and training, an unmatched suite of free technology, KB Core CRM, BrokerBuck, BrokerMint, and more. At Canzel, you get the best of both worlds. All the technology, revenue sharing, and equity awards of a national firm combined with the close-knit feel and support of a local firm. Build your real estate business your way, only at Canzel Realty.
All right, so talk about the C style. What
Oh.
what does that need to look like?
So C's are very, very detailed. Their spreadsheets are time organized. They have everything planned. So we'll do just a quick one on this one too. Mrs. Whitfield, thank you so much for allowing me into your home today. Do you have an amount that you would like to list your home at?
Yes. And doing all the comps in the area on my own by realtor.com. And I've got a spreadsheet and I see that they've kind of increased about, a 3 to 7%. That's pretty high. I'm thinking 375 is on point for listing this house.
Okay. That's great. Do you mind if I get my computer out and we actually go sit down and we pull up all of these comps that you have and we'll go through them and we'll look at pictures and we'll have you rate if you feel that your home is above their home or below their home. And then also look through the comps and adjustments that I have made. I have a very detailed report for you with every adjustment that's been made and see where the value is at that point.
That would be great. I can probably do that on my own and match it up to what I have with what you have and then go from there.
So it would really help me if we sat down there and did it together so I could get through what you're thinking and I can understand your mind. And then I can bring my 10 years of experience into this also. Because there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you may not even know about, such as seller prepaids, inspection fixes and stuff like that, that actually affect more than just that selling price.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And we can actually set up another appointment. I'll do my homework and you can do your homework and then we can compare them and see where we should price that out.
Okay, that's great. I will be ready. Excited to do that. Would you like to do that at your house or would you like to come to my office where we can do it on a large screen?
Oh, we'd go to your office.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was good because the C style really appreciates a real estate agent who's organized, prepared, they're detail oriented. And honestly, they don't really care for like idle chit chat because they're not going to be charmed into action, right?
No.
So they want the data. And that's why really asking this before you even get to the appointment, we used to have a pre listing thing that we had people do and it kind of mentioned this and we can send that out for anyone who wants to use it. Because if you know that they're a high C, number one, they're going to ask a lot of questions
Yes.
and you've got to be well prepared. So that means if I already know the person I'm dealing with is a high D, I don't need to waste a lot of time. And if they're not a high C, I don't need to do all this, paperwork that has all the data and all this stuff. But if I know that they're a high C, I need to be well prepared. I need to be able to have all the comps written out, because otherwise they're going to say, I don't want to work with you.
Yep. And you can't just tell them like, you're wrong. You can't just say, well, I have 10 years of experience. You don't know what you're doing. You have to sit down and apply to their logic and let them come to their own conclusion that the right number is the right number.
Yes, so good. Well, let's shift gears here for just a minute. And I want you to talk about, you guys do such an exceptional job of getting your clients to give you referrals. And I know that's because you give them such exceptional service, but I want to know more in detail of why you guys are getting referral after referral, like hand over fist. What specific systems do you have to make that happen?
Well, I think that, it starts back to what we just do is we create a connection with those clients so that they feel as friends as much as clients, but then we stay in contact. We're really big on the video texting right now. I know that you've talked about that, Chantel, too. Somebody's birthday's up on Facebook. It takes 10 seconds to go up, bring up Messenger, go, hey, Christine, I saw it was your 40th birthday today. So congratulations on reaching 40. Also saw that you made 40 under 40. Congratulations. Have a wonderful day. So we just stay top of mind that way. We also learned that if you send those messages in Messenger or Instagram instead of texting, it helps your algorithms for them seeing your material on social media.
That's a great idea. And do you have a system like, I know one of the agents that we have in our office, she said that she likes to do it in alphabetical order. So obviously, if someone's birthday comes up, she's going to see that, that sort of thing. But do you have anything where you go, okay, like today we're going to do like throughout the month, like the first of the month, I'm going to do all the A's, and the second I'm going to go through everyone with the last name B and kind of really like look at their timeline and see what's going on in their life and doing specific text or emails.
I wish I was that organized. Usually I am, but I'm kind of sporadic. So anything that's top of my mind, I do it right then and there. So it's something I have also heard and, thought about implementing. And I have not, just because it's what I hear, what I see, what I do right then and there. We do pop-ups or pop buys, so every quarter we'll do that. So we'll do the, 3 months, and we'll take that alphabet and do A through whatever. And then that's the pop by that we do. So
So tell us what kind of Popeyes have worked for you and what things you've done that have been the most successful.
So Sam's Club is my friend. So I usually just go get something small. It's just a little gift, whether it's something to do with food or maybe it's a gift card or something. I don't do anything really, really big. I just want them to know, hey, Krista was here. If they're not there, I leave it at the door. One of the things that I've heard is a lot of people will take a picture and send a video with that picture saying that you did a pop by. I do a lot of follow-up phone calls. Is what I do. So I'll follow up. Hey, did you get my pop by and stuff? And so it's just another touch point to me. As many times as I can do a touch point. I do a lot of calling in my vehicle. I am a driving, calling guru. So
It is. It's just a good time.
Yeah. So when you call them, kind of give us an example, like after you kind of get to see how they're doing, are you ending the call with, hey, I am, ending the conversation with a call to action of, by the way, if you know anyone that is looking right now, I'd love for you to send them my way, or what are you doing to wrap up that call to get them to send you the referral?
Exactly what you just said is that I'm usually asking them, hey, have you talked to anybody or have you visited with anybody that is looking to sell, buy in the real estate market? And so can you pass them the number? I try to get their number because I feel like giving our number does not usually give the response that we want. So I'm working with one that we sold their house. They moved to California. Their cousin actually knew who I was, messaged me, said, hey, I need your phone number. I have somebody that's looking to buy, first time home buyer. And I'm trying to pull that out of that person. It's like, great, here's my number. But if I haven't heard from them, I would like to reach out to them. So I try to keep the conversation going because I feel that doesn't necessarily come around as that referral. So it's, in my opinion, best if we can contact them and start that conversation.
Yeah. So any Popeyes that you've done that are like super cheap, like I know one, it was like, I was meant to be your realtor and you give them like a pack of mints that's like $1 or something
Yeah.
like that. Is there anything that you've done that, because everyone's trying to save money right now that you would say this is, something that's super easy and cheap right now?
Well, the only thing that I can actually recommend is this January with taxes coming and stuff. I do all the settlement statements and put a nice letter and I send that out to them. It's the cost of postage. And then I follow up with phone calls saying if I didn't get a text or something that I have received it. That's my way of calling them. Hey, did you get my settlement statement? We don't want you to miss out on any tax information. So that's currently what I'm doing. It's not even a Popeye. It's just a mail.
We did
Wow.
include a calendar, a magnetic calendar with those too. So
Oh yeah, I had recipes.
I went ahead and typed it in the chat for our client Popeye samples that we have. One of the things, the ideas that I love is doing things on Amazon where you just have these little cute things and then you can mail them things on Amazon that are like cheap. So you can get like, I meant to tell you thanks. And then you have a little screenshot. I typed it in the chat. You can go to joincanzel.com/free or put the link that I just put in the chat right there. But then you can like buy Mentos on Amazon and you can get them for, $5, sometimes $10. And sometimes that's saving time by doing it on Amazon and then follow up with a call.
yeah.
Any other time saving tips to kind of reach out to people?
Well, we have, we've talked about KV Core. If you're not working a database, you're not doing yourself an injustice. It's quick to be able to do a text out of KV Core to everybody, even like on Valentine's Day, just to send a quick, hey, I want to text everybody that's subscribed to my text. Hey, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great day. And even maybe attach that image that you sent out earlier today.
Yeah, there's coupons. That's like a super easy one. I just sent that out, but that's perfect. You can do printable Valentine's Day coupons where you just have a post that say, if you want me to email you free printable Valentine's coupons, and then they have like, this voucher is good for, a free car wash or a fancy dinner or breakfast in bed or a foot rub or whatever it is. And then you just send them the free coupons is a great idea as well.
Yeah. Bail on all of us husbands.
Yes. And I think that's the best gift ever. So let's talk about quickly, we're out of time. I've enjoyed talking with you guys so much, but talk a little bit about how you guys work successfully as a spousal team, because that always intrigues me, how you guys have such a great marriage, but also work well together.
Well, I will say that there are times that it's not so great. We used to joke that we're going to build a Lego wall in between our offices because we share an office.
Optional window.
With an optional window. So, to answer your question quickly, we always come across, but I will say that it's not always easy. But what we do is we rely on each other's strengths. Kristen thinks that I'm very strong in communication and negotiations and numbers and handling those C clients. I don't handle the I clients very well that aren't very logical. So I can give an example of where I was going to pull a listing. I was in the town to pull the listing and she says, no, don't pull it. I stepped out and she stepped in and sold it. So what we do is we don't try to step on each other's toes, but figure out how to complement each other. And then we work so much together. We just have to have time where we set our phones down and we'll literally say this to each other. No real estate talk for the next 2 hours. Because it's very natural for us to start talking about real estate clients because we both have a passion for it. We love it. Love that Kanzel gave me the opportunity to step away from a 6-figure job to do it full time with my wife. So that's a choice that I made and I'm going to make the best of it. And there's nobody else I would rather do it with.
I love it. Well, I would love for you to teach a class on KV Core. You guys are the KV Core wizards. I mean, they've got this program down and it's working for them. So we are going to set a time for them to teach you exactly what they're doing. You should be in front of your computer when you do it. But tell listeners where to find you and where to follow you.
Absolutely. So you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram's the best way. Whitfield Realtors is our Facebook, and then Krista Whitfield Realty on Instagram. Even though I handle most of that stuff, that's one of the things that I take. Otherwise, you can email us or call us. You can go to whitfieldrealtors.com and get our information. If you'd like to follow up more on DISC or anything, get more deep, I want to just mention that Kanzel has a free DISC. If you don't know what your DISC score is, Kanzel has a free DISC assessment. So it's joinkanzel.com/DISC. And I think somebody was going to put that in the chat.
Yeah, I'll type that in for you guys because you guys should know yours. And I will also get you guys a copy of that sheet that is a pre-listing form that talks about giving this to them in the very beginning so you can come in already prepared, knowing what that listing presentation is. Well, you guys are a wonderful couple. We just have been blessed to have you guys, and what a blessing this has been to all of us. And you guys stay tuned. We'll have another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.